Have you ever looked at your current reality and wondered if this was it? Maybe you started a business for freedom and realized now that you feel trapped behind your computer screen with no end in sight. Maybe you're wondering how to find work-life flow, worried you'll never truly experience time freedom. If so, you are not alone. I'm bringing other successful entrepreneurs onto the show to share their experience of taking back control of their lives. Join me on my journey as we build a business that doesn't hold us back and a lifestyle we don't need an escape from. My name is Jamie Kullman, and this is Mom's Freedom Maker Podcast. All right. You guys, I am so excited for this next guest today. So Stepanka is a clinical hypnotherapist and a guide for women who desire to glow from within and create a life of their dreams. She guides soul-centered women to follow their deeper callings, to become unstoppable, empowered, and stop being held back by fears, insecurity, and anxiety. She helps them to become the most magnetic and glowing version of themselves. She takes women on a journey of extraordinary transformation using a blend of hypnosis, emotional freedom technique, tapping, neuro-linguistic programming, emotional intelligence, mastery, coaching, and other proven practical tools combined with her knowledge in energetic healing and spirituality. It's her mission on earth to support and guide other women on their healing journey. So Stepanka, I am so excited to chat with you today. Welcome to Mom's Freedom Maker Podcast. And I would love to kick this off by just asking you, what does freedom mean for you?
Hi, Jamie. Thank you so much for having me here. Excited to be here today with you. And thanks for such a lovely introduction. So that's such a great question to start this with. To be honest, freedom to me is really the ability to be myself. To be myself in my truest form, to express myself freely and to be fully in my authenticity. Because I feel for so many years I had been stuck in almost like a box, wanting to be someone else, perhaps even pretending to be someone else. And, on my own path of healing and personal development, I learned that actually, the more I am myself, the more powerful and empowered I feel. So yeah, this would be my answer.
Oh, I love that so much. It's so beautiful. And so you are up to some incredible things in the world right now. Can you share with us a little bit of your backstory and what led you to starting such an impactful business?
Thank you so much. Yeah, it honestly, all of the tools, all of the techniques and modalities I teach women and I, do in my programs and in my one-on-ones are literally all the tools and modalities that helped me first and foremost. And that's what really led me in qualifying in them. And I would really say, like, since a very young age, I was quite anxious. I would struggle with confidence at, even high school, and I constantly felt like I don't belong. Looking back at it, I know that it was imposter syndrome. I always felt like I wasn't smart enough, good enough, pretty enough. And to be honest, everything was almost like heightened by all of the health problems I had from quite a young age. From probably the age of 13, I had several gynecological health problems. I had skin problems, and at one point I was so incredibly anemic I couldn't even get up to school. And so that's when I started looking into different things, and my parents booked me with emotional freedom technique practitioner, which helped quite a lot. But then when I went to university in my first year, everything got so worse. I developed severe psychosomatic health problems. I wasn't able to show up for classes. I would have fever almost every single day. I would have digestion problems, like I would feel sick in my stomach almost after every single meal. And you can imagine, like a first year student, you think like you'll be out there socializing, having plenty of fun, and I couldn't even show up for classes. So after a bit of investigation, I went to see loads of different doctors and I would have loads of different tests done, like really wanting to know what is going on because I can't even study. And I was stressed out that I'm at such a difficult university and I, want to make sure I make the most out of it. And all of the tests and examinations showed that I was healthy. Like there was nothing wrong with my stomach. There was nothing that would explain the sickness I was experiencing on a daily basis. And this is really when one of my doctors suggested, like, could it be your anxiety? Could it be that you are just so nervous and worried that it's manifesting in your body into those physical experiences? So you can imagine, like, this made me think, even though my first reaction was like, no, this is real. Like, this is not in my head because, I had this idea that maybe, I could be making stuff up and I didn't really want to admit it. But luckily enough, like I was guided to an incredible yoga teacher at university. And by accident, I actually ended up entering her class. And I believe it was meant to be. I wasn't planning to go there. It literally happened all by mistake. And I had to stay there because I walked in, I was there, and she played a hypnosis relaxation for us. And it was so impactful. Like the first couple of minutes in, like I knew this is something special. And even though I was really young, I didn't have much experience with any of it. Like the bliss I experienced in my body within minutes was unbelievable. And I was so taken back by how powerful this 15-minute technique was that I ended up, going to see this teacher and I said, like, can I have the recording? How do I get it? Like, I really want to practice this more often. And she gave me the recording, and she actually ended up being one of my first ever mentors in the first year at uni. Honestly, I'm so grateful to this woman. And I would practice this recording twice a day. And within a week, all of those health problems went away. So, yeah, quick, right?
That's amazing. Okay. So what is hypnotherapy? Can you dive deeper into that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because to be honest, hypnotherapy is the kind of modality that is constantly surrounded by so many myths and misconceptions. And, media, the entertainment industry portrays hypnosis as something mythical, dangerous, and, you are not aware what's going on when you are in hypnosis. And none of this is true. So I feel it's really important for me to start here and explain what actually hypnosis is. Because if someone holds any fears and they might feel like, oh, maybe it's not that safe, then it won't even be effective for them. That's how important the education around hypnosis is. So simply explained, hypnosis is a natural state of your mind, and we all experience it many times throughout our day. A good example, which I feel like many might be resonating with, is when we watch a film, when we watch a movie on TV and we are like really into it, or when we play, I don't know, like PlayStation. I don't really play it, but I can imagine some people might play like different games or on PlayStation or whatever it's called. That's how little I know about it. And someone else walks into the room and you're either watching this film or playing a game or reading an interesting book, and they say, oh, Jamie, what did you want for dinner? And Jamie's like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. You know what I mean? That like we are not even aware of what this person asked. This is what hypnosis feels like. You use the power of your mind to focus on one thing, on something, and then the rest is more like blurry. You are not capable of like remembering every little thing. Or when you go to a restaurant, a busy restaurant, it's buzzing, there is loads of people, and you are sat there with your friend and she's telling you something really interesting or something really deep, and you are really into it, paying attention. And all of a sudden, it's almost like the background noises disappear. Like the noise and all the other people laughing in the background, they just don't exist for that period of time. This is what hypnosis can feel like. But obviously, hypnosis is a therapeutic approach. So you use this ability of your mind to your benefits, to create a beneficial change in your life or to overcome a habit or something that might be stopping you. Is this making sense?
Absolutely. There's so much to this. I never connected
Yeah.
the two before and understood that that was a type of hypnosis, but it makes sense. Like I've had
Yeah.
those experiences too and didn't really know how they connected or related to that. But so okay, so you're in this state of hypnosis. So what happens next?
Yeah, yeah, let me expand on that. So, this is just the start. And when you are in hypnosis, it actually feels very different to every single one of us. It's a very subjective experience. And this is why sometimes people can feel a little disempowered when they are in a group environment and they all just been guided into a hypnosis. And afterwards, they compare their experiences, and everyone experiences will be different. And that's okay. That's how it's meant to be. So your experience might be that like you felt lightness in your body. My experience might be that actually my body felt really heavy and like I was leaning back. So there are differences. And also relaxation is often, accompanied with hypnosis, but it doesn't have to be. Hypnosis is used by top athletes. Marathon runners, they use hypnosis when they run to help them stay motivated, inspired to keep going when they want to give up. And if you imagine an athlete, like they are not relaxed, are they? So you don't have to be like asleep. That's another misconception that people are unconscious or asleep. You are aware of everything. And you can have your eyes open or you can have your eyes closed. Of course, I always suggest, like when it's someone who is new to it, it might be easier for you to practice it with your eyes closed and in a comfortable position. I don't have my clients lie down, for example, because that actually encourages them to drift off, to fall asleep, to think about something else. Oh, yeah. So I definitely think it's actually really good to be in a nice, upright, seated position where you can stay aware and you can follow your therapist, because the more aware you are, the more beneficial it is. It's way more beneficial to be aware than, for example, the so-called sleep hypnosis. When you buy a recording and you play it at night, like that used to be really popular. And actually, it's less effective than hypnosis, where you are an active, you know, um, part of the whole process.
That's so interesting. So I guess I was under the impression that you had to be laying down, sleeping in order to get into a hypnotic state, but that's not the case. So if anybody's listening or watching this and they're like interested in giving this a shot, how would we be able to do this at home? Is that an option?
Yeah, absolutely. So, to be honest, like if you have a problem, a goal you are working on, and you want to get personalized help, then I would recommend reaching out to a hypnotherapist rather than downloading, let's say, a hypnotic recording from the internet. It can be really beneficial as well, but I would more recommend it for things such as, relaxation or really wanting to unwind after a busy day. Like it can be perfect. And also, if like you cannot, let's say, afford a therapist, like that's a great place to start. That's where I started in my 20s, right? And it changed my life as well. So I want to make this clear that like there are different options for all of us. But if, let's say, you want to get like personalized help, it's so good to work with someone, because then the therapist, like, it's our job to be listening to your language, to the kind of words you use, the phrases you use, how you describe the thing that you are struggling with, and how you describe your goals. All of it is really important because we put it together and we use the right words and languaging when guiding you in hypnosis. So that can be quite a good experience. And I personally work from home and I work online. So it's possible for all of us from all different parts of the world to be connected. You don't have to see a hypnotherapist in person, but you can. Like there are also like benefits if you prefer being with someone face to face. In person, that's also fine. But I personally practice hypnosis online. And I remember when I was studying clinical hypnosis years ago, I already knew this is what I wanted. I always knew I wanted to work with clients from all around the world. And I would tell my classmates and my teacher, and nobody could imagine that back then. It's like online, on camera, that sounds really odd. I look at it now.
It took over the world. So
Yeah.
now, from the comfort of your home, you're able to run your business and help people from all over the world. So how does that feel to just know that you're making your impact and you're helping people? Because your story, I mean, you had so much going on in your body that wasn't right. Doctors, they couldn't figure it out. They said nothing was wrong. You tapped into hypnosis and things started to shift for you. So how does it feel to heal others in that way?
Yeah, it's the most beautiful thing, honestly. Like the thing I'm most proud of is the relationships I have built with my clients, with women who join my programs. Like I can't even describe it. Like you can't describe it with words because it's honestly a dream come true. And I remember like I would dream about moments like this, about like having, long-term clients who then from like want to stay working with me because they've seen the benefits and now they are more working on their mindset and energy and so on instead of just like solving emergencies, if that makes sense. And it's just the nicest of thing, honestly. Like I'm so grateful, and I feel like seeing the impact I'm making, and it's a ripple effect. Like my client then goes and shares her own wisdom or her own gifts because she feels that empowered. It's like I really believe that it's even the little things we do on a daily basis that create a big shift on the planet for everyone.
It is. And that's so impactful and beautiful. And I feel you. It's like we fall more and more in love with our businesses every day because it's like as it grows, the impact grows. It's like a waterfall effect and just so beautiful. So, what are the main reasons that people usually find you? Like, what's the
Mm.
number one problem that you solve for someone?
I would definitely say it's anxiety, fears, and insecurities when women are not fully in their power and they know they are here to experience more. They know they are meant to feel blissed out and, really grounded at home in their bodies. And very often my clients are women who want to make an impact in their own ways as well. But at the same time, like something's holding them back. There are like deeper fears that are keeping them stuck, or they might be sabotaging themselves because of those fears. So my job is to help them, uncover those fears, decode them, use it to motivate them, and help them create a new response, both in their mind and their body. And that's one thing I so love about hypnosis. Like we often think it's just about the mind, reprogramming the subconscious mind, but actually your body is so involved in this process, and it just creates such a big impact in your life. Hypnosis is almost like re hypnosis is helping your body build a new response. So
Mm.
let's say there might have been a scenario or an experience, a person, a thing that just makes you really uncomfortable and it makes you shake and your palms begin to sweat. And, there is like a whole emotional response within the body. And hypnosis teaches your body to create a different response, to stay calm, to stay confident, even when things are not working out the way you thought they would, which is so important, especially if you have your own business and, with children, like you never know what could happen. So I feel that's just such a good thing.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. And can you tell me the difference? Now, this might be a silly question, but can you tell me the difference between meditation and hypnosis?
Oh, honestly, that's such a good question, to be honest, because I feel there can be, a really fine line, but generally speaking, meditation, of course, there are so many different kinds of meditation, so I don't want to make like generalizations, but generally speaking, meditation is more open. more general, if you like. You might be just focusing on your breath, you might be focusing on sensations in your body. In some kinds of meditation, you might be repeating a mantra, an affirmation. So there are different kinds, but it's more open. The purpose is usually to help you feel grounded, to feel calm, to come back home to yourself. On the other hand, hypnosis is very much laser focused. There is a structure to it. Meditation can be quite vague, like in a good way, but hypnosis is very structured. So it has a specific start that helps the client drop back into the body, lean back, open up to this technique. So even if you had like a busy day and loads of things happen, like this is where you help your client to just release it for the session and tune into what is going on the inside. Then there is what we call as hypnotherapists, we call it a deepener. So you help your client to deepen that experience. It doesn't mean you need to get more sleepy, but usually you get more relaxed or like your mind opens up more. If at the start of the hypnosis there was still some kind of self-talk and your mind was ruminating, like during the deepening phase, you are more likely to like let it go and release it. Then we have got the middle part of hypnosis, which is the therapeutic part. And this is where we focus on either the thing which you want to give up, a habit that is not serving you, a way of being that is not supporting your goals, or we focus on like the new thing that you are creating. So it all depends. There are various different kinds of hypnosis, but generally speaking, if it's focused on a goal or on a dream, like this is where you would be working on. If there is something from the past, like we might be working with that as well, like changing a memory so it doesn't have an impact over you. We might be changing responses to certain things in your life. So that's the middle bit. And then there is the ending to hypnosis, but I usually see it as two different parts. The first part of the ending is where I help my clients to make those changes even more impactful. This is where I would give them positive suggestions so that those changes are embedded, deeply embedded, but also they have other benefits such as overall calmness and confidence and being at peace with what it is. And then this is the ending where you count your client up and out of hypnosis. So they, can come back to the here and now.
Wow, there's so much that goes into that. And thank you so much for clarifying between meditation and hypnosis. That makes complete sense. So meditation is something that I practice every day, at least once in the morning. How often do you recommend doing hypnosis?
It all depends. I don't think I can say like one number for everyone. Like I'm the same like you. I meditate at least once per day, but sometimes like, I have more time in the morning and I actually know this is something I'm working on or I have got this goal. And then I will guide myself through hypnosis. To be honest, every hypnosis is in a way a self hypnosis. You are the one guiding yourself and your therapist is there just to support you. But it all depends. So today I had a client who has accepted a new job, like a really high up position, and it makes her nervous. Like she's never been in such a high level position, leading such a big team. It's completely new thing after she's just been on maternity leave. So it feels like, oh my God, like I've been at home. It feels really uncomfortable to be going into a new environment with loads of people and new products and so on. So with her, I prescribed, if you like, so that she practices the technique 4 times per week. And we have bi-weekly sessions. So this will really help her to build that new way of responding to new situations, new scenarios, and to overcome those fears without feeling overwhelmed. Because I know that sometimes when you work with a coach or a therapist, they can give you like loads of homework and it can feel overwhelming, like, and I want things to be doable in my practice. So if this feels aligned with her and with her, baby girl, and she's got time, 3 to 4 times would be perfect. I will have clients who like, oh, I'm fully in, I'm going to do something every single day. And they get a whole library from me and they can like do different things. But I would generally say 3 times per week would be lovely if you are currently working on something.
Okay, thank you so much for clarifying that. And so, okay, I've heard your success story, which is incredible, but I would love for you to share one of your client success stories that you feel would just benefit everybody here. What were they struggling with, and now how are they feeling afterwards?
Oh my goodness, there are so many. It's so hard to pick. Oh, let me think. Which client shall I talk about? Okay, so I feel like I have one client who is just such a testimony, like to my work, and she's so close to my heart. Honestly, we still work together because she's like changing her career and doing loads of epic things. And I feel this is a really great example. She came to me because she was so burnt out. She was running two different jobs, plus a side hustle, that she wanted to develop and work on. And she was a chronic people pleaser. She was constantly out and about with various different people and emotionally eating. She was overweight when we started working together, totally out of balance, unhappy in a relationship. Like there was so much going on, like loads of different things. It wasn't like she came with one issue, like her life felt like it was falling apart. And actually, it was her friends who said, like, you need to do something, like we can't even be with you. And she is the most incredible woman. She dove straight in, like she was so open-minded, and she practiced those techniques, and honestly within weeks things rapidly shifted. Then within a month, like her confidence grew so much. She started saying no to people. She started working on the side hustle on her side hustle a lot more, and now she has got a completely new career. So 1 year later she's in a different place. She's in a relationship. Back then, like, not only she didn't have time for a relationship, but she also felt like she wasn't worthy of it. She felt like maybe now, I'm too old, maybe I can't be in a relationship. So this is a client who honestly went through 360 degree change within a year. And it makes me so happy when I receive like a wedding invitation, or I, get pictures from her engagement now, and just so much shifted. And yeah, now she's working still with me, but not on like burning issues. She's now like playing with what is possible. Like she saw how much can be possible. So she's like how much more money can I make? Like how many new opportunities can I attract? How much more epic can my relationship be? So it's so much fun because she is someone who came to me with a lot of burning issues that she like couldn't sleep from, because that's how burning these things were and how urgent they felt. And now she's just like, how better can things be?
That's incredible, because it's almost like if your basic needs aren't met and your life
Yeah,
is not feeling well, you've got to tap into that first. But it sounds like
yeah,
after a year of really fine-tuning that, she's been able to now think bigger. Now she's like, all right,
yeah,
tackled this, time to get a little bit deeper into what she really wants. And that's
that's it.
incredible. There's so much power to what you do. So we've talked about the hypnosis part.
Yeah.
Now, do you have anything else you work with your clients on in addition to hypnosis?
Yes, like honestly, I'm qualified in so many different modalities, but hypnosis is like the core of things I offer. But like there is a concept I developed myself, and it's so close to my heart, and I call it emotional alchemy. And emotional alchemy is a combination of emotional intelligence and inner radiance for women. And it's something I started developing for myself in my maybe around the age of 24, 25, when I actually discovered I had cysts on my ovaries because I was in a lot of pain. Like I had some incredibly difficult gynecological problems at such a young age. And while I was like eating healthy, I had a healthy lifestyle, like my body wasn't in harmony, and I wasn't getting the answers from doctors. Like everything was taking so long, and I was in a lot of pain. There were days when I had to take time off work. I couldn't even work. And like it was hard to sit down and meditate. You know what I mean? Like when emotions run so high, you can't actually even do some of those self-help techniques. The mind, the common mindset techniques wouldn't work for me. Like repeating affirmations, positive journaling, like none of it was working for me because I was in so much emotional pain. Like I didn't know how to deal with those challenges I was facing. And it felt so frustrating because I was like, oh, I should be able to help myself. Like I was already studying clinical hypnosis then. And I should know all the answers. And it was like, it was really hard on myself. And this is when I started learning to accept my emotions. And I started learning that I don't have to change them. I don't have to repeat an extremely positive affirmation because that actually makes me feel worse, because like the gap between where you are and where you want to be is so big that by trying to be extremely positive, like you actually feel like you are lying to yourself. And this is when I started connecting like the importance of working with both your mind and your body, because your body is where we experience these emotions. So I teach women radical self-awareness and embodiment, truly working with your body and seeing it as important as your mind. We can't separate those two things. I teach women how to make friends with their emotions because we so often suppress them. Like we've been told as little children, oh, if you stop crying, I'll give you a cake. Or you can have a Barbie doll if you don't cry right now. So we learn to numb our feelings. This is when I get clients who emotionally overeat as adults because they had a stressful day at work and they don't know how else to process it. So they will have a cake. They will have a tub of ice cream. They will have a glass of wine just to, take the edge of the day, or scrolling on social media, another common coping mechanism. And this is also another reason, and I don't think enough people actually talk about this, but another reason why we sabotage our goals is because we don't have the emotional capacity to hold both the success that we want, but also the flip side of it. Like we need to be capable of holding both. And when we trust ourselves and our bodies enough, and we know we've got the emotional capacity to do so, like this is when we stop holding back. This is when we stop procrastinating, because procrastination is hardly ever about poor time management skill. Very often there is something deeper beneath that, some kind of a fear that we don't think we will be able to hold it.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like that's always what people think it is. They think it's time management, but when you start to dig a little deeper, peel back those layers to the onion, yeah, it's deep and it needs to be dealt with. So that's incredible that you figured this out. And this is also something that you utilize in your practice. That's incredible. Now, as we start to kind of wrap things up here, where, if anybody's watching this and this is really sinking, it's resonating, they're like, I need to try hypnosis, I want to learn more about all of these modalities, where would they be able to find you?
So my website is hypnocoaching.me. This is where you will find a lot of free resources and, about my one-on-one work as well. But I also have a free Facebook community. It's called New Earth Women. And this is where you will find, free EFT tapping videos, hypnosis recordings on my website, hypnocoaching.me. Like I have a freebie library with things. So there is like loads of things you can start exploring straight away if you find this interesting. And I also have a podcast called the Inner Glow Podcast. Most of it are my solo episodes, just me sharing what I'm experiencing, the latest techniques I've been working with. Like honestly, I speak purely from my heart, and most of them are just intuitive episodes. I hardly ever have any notes, so you can probably tell it's literally just me talking, and I absolutely love that because it's one of the ways I love connecting with women in my audience. And I am also on Instagram at New Earth Woman, so plenty of places to find me.
Thank you so much. And what is one book recommendation that you would have for anybody listening?
Oh my goodness, that's another
Put you on
difficult
the
one because
spot. Sorry.
yeah, because I love books. Like this one, I'm always reading like 8 books at one time. Okay, so I think I'll recommend a book that was so impactful on my own journey, especially when I was finding my own voice and I was really stepping into my bigger vision and acknowledging that actually, I want to be doing something else. I don't want to be in a 9 to 5 job. And I feel this book really helped me with it. And to me, this book is also a piece of art because I love the way it's designed. I love the poetry that's within it as well. Some of you will probably be familiar with it. It's quite a well-known book. It's called Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell.
Okay, thank you so much. I've actually never heard of it, so I'm
Mhm.
probably going to check it out after we get off here and see if I can add it to my collection. That
Amazing.
sounds amazing. And what is one last thing you would like to leave the listeners with? One last takeaway from you?
Mm. Never ever settle. Just go for what you desire. Like, honestly, embrace your vision, embrace your goals. If they feel big, that's good, and make them even bigger. Like, I honestly believe and know that anything is possible. Like, we can all create a positive change in our lives. And I, experienced incredible lows when my health wasn't well, like when things were not going well for me in my health, and I felt like things will never change. But regardless where you are right now, even if you feel you are struggling, you are experiencing problems, never give up. Like, keep searching, be gentle with yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up for like, oh, I should be over there and I'm over here, like, I'm behind. Like, you are never behind. You are where you are meant to be right now. And this is preparing you for something even more epic.
Mic drop. Thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure to have you on the show and be my live stream guinea pig. If you guys are listening to this right now on the podcast, we are actually now streaming guest interviews live across Facebook, YouTube, and my personal Facebook group, the Freedom Maker Tribe. So if you did not catch where to catch and find this website and her social media, I will link it below in the show notes and on the blog, so you'll be able to find it there. But it is hypnocoaching.me. And I have learned so much today about hypnotherapy, and I just can't wait to try it for myself and to really dive into this here. So thank you again, Stepanka, so much for joining me today on the show, and I cannot wait to dive in further with hypnotherapy.
Thank you so much, Jamie. It's been amazing to be chatting here with you today. Again, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.